friends, and welcome back to Radiant Farmstead. My name's Ashley. Thank you for joining us today. If you're new, I'm so glad you're here, and if you've been here before, then welcome back. Today is a very exciting video. We're having a little bit of a car chat about our recent video that we just posted talking about our move. Oh my goodness, guys, you gave me such an incredible response to that video. I feel so blessed and so honored to have so many people joining us in our journey and trying to support us in any way they can. So thank you so much for liking the video and subscribing to the channel and joining us on Facebook and our other social medias. Like, it just means the world to me. It's kind of crazy, it's kind of huge, and so we're just really excited to share it with you guys. So thank you so much. Like I said, if you guys don't know me, my name is Ashley. I live currently in a beautiful little RV park in southwest Oklahoma with my family in a 41-foot RV. There's 6 of us, and we have 2 dogs and 2 cats, and we live happily there, squished into about 400 square feet of space. So this move is going to give us some huge opportunity to expand a little bit and have a little bit more of the life that we're dreaming of. But with all of the response to that video from friends and family and even some new friends here on YouTube, we have had an explosion of questions about what we're doing, how we're doing it, and why we're doing it. So I thought I would address that today. We're not always going to have these moving car chat videos, but I figured a couple of them to kind of lay the foundation of, the who, what, when, where, why kind of things is probably pretty smart. So we're going to do that. And the next video will have something kind of sweet for you guys to enjoy. If you can see, I am parked here in front of one of our local little strip malls. My family goes to youth group. My husband even serves on youth group, and so me and our toddler, we do not go just because she kind of gets really attached to me, and she kind of has a hard time sometimes in situations where there's a lot of people, since she's so small still. So me serving and being able to help, it's just kind of not in the cards right now. So I dropped them off, and I'm just kind of parked here in the Atwoods parking lot. So we're just going to have a chat here, if that's okay. I need to adjust my camera. Give me just a second. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. My tripod broke a couple weeks ago. So I'm kind of propping my phone up on my purse right now until my new one comes in. Anyhow, we are going to just jump in. I'm going to try to make this video a little bit shorter than the last one. I said it was going to be short. It didn't really end up being short. I got too excited, but we're going to try to make this short, sweet, to the point. So let's jump in. Okay, so the first question I keep getting, obviously, is why Montana? Why are you moving to Montana? Oklahoma is a great farming state. Why are you moving to Montana? There's a few reasons for that. First off is that my husband and I have grown up here most of our lives. I also grew up the first half of my life through high school, through my last year of high school at least, in Pensacola, Florida for the most part. My parents moved around a lot. We moved around when I was younger, and then moved to Oklahoma when I was a junior in high school, because my dad is a pastor, and so sometimes it's kind of a little bit like military. Every couple of years you're moving, but I was very thankful and very blessed enough to be able to stay in one place for an extended period of time while I went through middle school and high school. Made some really great friends who are on here probably. Shout out if you are. I'd love to see you guys, and if you could say hi, that'd be great. So I have grown up ever since then here in Oklahoma, and nothing wrong with the state of Oklahoma. We think that it is probably perfect for a lot of people. My husband grew up in Lawton. I grew up mostly in Oklahoma City, 2 very different places, and we are just kind of ready for a change, because I spent most of my younger years in a place with a very different culture from here and a very different kind of feel growing up, being in a kind of touristy beach town, basically. I really long for more of that, things where you're out in nature more. There's, a draw for people to visit and vacation there. And I really love the feel of that. So we just really feel like this, we've always felt like ever since we got married, this is not going to be the place where we end up. Not necessarily because it's a bad place, just because it's just not the right place for us. My kids have grown up, all 4 of them. They were all born here in Oklahoma, but we just really feel led. We've been praying about it. And we just really feel led that it's time for a change. So we decided to make a change, and it is a big change, because we said, as we were talking to each other, we were like, if we're going to do this, if we're going to change everything, we might as well be in a place where we want to spend the rest of our lives. Because ultimately, the place that we buy our property and we, put our farm on it and those things, that's going to be our forever home. That's going to be the home that Nick and I grow old in. That's going to be where my kids bring my grandkids to come visit me. That is going to be home for us. And why would we put it somewhere where we just kind of felt a longing to go somewhere else? It just doesn't make any sense. So even though this is quite extreme for a lot of people, when I'm talking to them, they're like, that's really far away. Why would you do that? It's just because we feel like this is really the place that we're supposed to be. And a couple reasons for that. One, Nick and I hate the heat. It is, a lot of people don't know this from other places. Oklahoma is extremely hot, extremely. Last year and the previous summers, there had been over a month where it was over 100 degrees every day. It never dropped below 100 degrees during the day. It was miserable. And neither one of us, he does fine in the heat, but he doesn't like it. And I don't do very well in the heat. I don't like the heat. And you'd think, being from Florida, I would be more equipped to handle it. But let's be honest, it's different. It's a different kind of heat. And even though it's both very humid heat, it just never got that hot down there. And if it did, we had cool breezes along with it. Here, you step out of the RV or your car or out of Walmart that you're going into, it feels like you've opened an oven and it hits you in the face, because it's just this soggy, awful heat. And I don't know how to describe that for people who live in dry heat. It's not the same. It's not. You breathe in hot air. It's just not our thing. So we just really, really dislike it. And especially with me wanting to be outside as much as I'm going to be with farming and doing that, 3 months out of the year, I don't want it to be, over 90 degrees and 100 degrees, me trying to struggle through doing this. I would much rather struggle through the cold. That's just how it is. I don't even care. -40, that's fine. I can put on more layers. I can't necessarily take off more layers. So we just really don't like the heat. So moving up north, somewhere where it's colder, was very, very important to us. And just because as we get older, we're going to hate the heat even more. It's going to continue to bother us. And so we were like, you know what, we can stay inside once we're retired and all of this. We can stay inside, we can be cozy by a fire. That's a whole lot easier to us than having to stay inside because it's so hot and dripping sweat even when you're inside. It just doesn't make sense to us. So that's just our preference. Nothing wrong with the heat. And I have a lot of friends and a lot of family who love summertime and love the heat, and they love it here. It's just not our jam. So that is definitely one of the things. The other thing is we homeschool our children. So right now they're going to a charter school that is through the state, but they still school at home. Next year, I am going to be completely homeschooling them at home from homeschool curriculum, not through a charter school. And one of the best places ever to homeschool is in Montana. They have some of the most lenient homeschool laws. I don't know if it's in the entire country, but that's one of the things that drew me there. You literally have to do like one or two things in order to qualify. And I love the flexibility it gives you. I love like how independent you can be with learning. Like I can really teach my children the things that I believe that they need to learn, and not just to check it off the list so they can take a test. All of my kids at this point in time, a couple, like my girls, kind of, one of them goes back and forth on whether she wants to go to college or not. My other daughter is wanting to go to college, at least mostly. They're 14, so it's not like they know right now, but you know, and I just want to encourage them to do whatever they want to, and what they need to, and what God has in store for them. Like, you know, what is in his will for them, whether that means going to college or not. And if they do, I really highly encourage them to go to college online. I think that you can get a great education online nowadays, and if that helps them save money and stay with us for a couple more years, so to where they can save up money to be able to buy a house, or be able to buy an apartment, you know, or do things like that, and put them in a better position in life, then I totally encourage them to do that. And homeschooling gives them the flexibility to be able to do that. One of my daughters would like to graduate early, and that is definitely something we can do homeschooling, whereas that is a lot harder to do in a traditional school situation. We had some really horrible experiences, and I know it might just be here when they were in public school here, to where we had to pull them out, like very dangerous situations where one of my daughters was in a very dangerous situation, and we had to actually physically take them out of school, all three of them, in order to keep them from this dangerous situation. And it's kind of a sensitive subject, so I don't want to talk about it on here, but for those of you who do know, like it was very hard on both my daughters and my son, and none of them really felt safe going to school anymore, because unfortunately the people who were in charge of the school, who were supposed to be protecting them, would not. They would not protect them. And so it was up to me to protect them, and I did. So that's why I made that decision. But it has been the best decision we've ever made. At first, they were so sad because they didn't have friends all the time around and stuff. Now they love homeschooling. All three of them. They love it. And I have no problem with our youngest, our toddler, Emery, growing up and being totally homeschooled. I don't think that they are having any social issues. We go to church twice a week or more, and with the special events and stuff, they are getting, there's like homeschool co-ops, and there's all sorts of things to do. And especially in Billings, where we're going to be moving, it is a fantastic environment for people who homeschool. There is a large population of the kids in Montana because they're on like these individual farms, and a lot of them are farming kids that are homeschooling. Their parents are schooling them, or family friends, or things like that, to where there's so many resources there. There's so many resources there. And like I said, the regulations are very, very loose, relaxed, and I like that. I like that I have the freedom to be able to help my children get the kind of education that they need as individuals, and not just a blanket cover of education that might help them one day in the future, that might not, and all of these things. That is another reason. So we have the weather, we have homeschooling, and also Homestead, different tax exemptions, and like they are really, really pro sustainable living, and I really love that. I love that they have a fantastic homestead exemption. You can sign up to make sure that legally, on paper, your property is considered a homestead. And if it is, then you get, I think it's over $400,000 just in case something happens, and that's protection against creditors or things like that. If something happens and we lose our farm, or God forbid something like that happens, we have some protection there. Obviously it is also a business, so you're always taking on that risk and that liability. That makes me feel a little bit better as a mom, to make sure that we might not actually lose our property if something happens and God forbid we're in a horrible situation. We learned that from this past year where everything went wrong. Always make sure you have all of the boxes checked that you possibly can. And on top of it, they also have a great cottage food law, which is really important to me. Here in Oklahoma, we have one of the most relaxed cottage food license laws like in the entire country. There, it's not too far behind. I obviously want to make and sell some of my own baked goods and some of my own like things I make on my farm, and that is a way to do it without having to get an actual food license and have like, you know, inspections and all of that type of thing. I want to be able to have a farm stand, and that's really the only way to do it. And so that is very important to me too. On top of that, just taxes in general. Here in Oklahoma, we have taxes on everything. You have property taxes, you have, you know, just like most places in the United States, you have property tax, you have sales tax, you have income tax, you have tax. There, they do not have sales tax on anything you buy, which, even though obviously in Montana, the cost of living is a little bit higher in certain areas, but not having sales tax, guys, is going to make a huge difference for our family when it comes to buying food, or if we have to buy vehicles, or, you know, if we ever upgrade our RV, or even buying land or anything like that. Like having no sales tax on just everyday items like toilet paper, like and toiletries and things like that, is going to make it feel like it's so much cheaper to us, which obviously helps us out having, you know, not a ton of excess. So definitely, as far as financially and like the laws supporting homesteading and supporting families, there is just bar none. We love it. We think it's perfect for our family. So that is something that's really important to us, is making sure that we have a place where our family is going to feel comfortable. So next, another thing that we really love, and like I told you, I long for kind of a place where people come and visit and they want to come see like all the sites and things like that. I love that Montana offers that to people. I love that there's Yosemite and Yellowstone very close. There's a ton of national parks. And that kind of brings us to the point of the video where I am going to talk about kind of what we're wanting to do. And I'm going to make it quick, but basically my dream, right? This is years in the future. This is not going to happen anytime soon, but I want to put it on record here on YouTube and share my dream. And then in a few years, maybe we'll do like a follow-up video and see how it's going and like updates and see if it's played out the way I hope. My dream for this farm, and Nick's dream for this farm, is we want to create a place where not only our family is sustained by the food we grow and the animals that we grow for meat, but also we can support and give back to the community. That is a huge motivation for us. We want to support the homeless community in Billings. We want to support local churches. We want to support food banks. It's something that is just really heavy on our hearts. We want to give back to our community. We might not be able to do that monetarily. It's always something that we've wanted to do, just give our money away to people. We don't have a lot of extra money, but what we can do is we can plant extra. And we can, cultivate that over several years. And in several years, you plant a little extra here, and then the next year you have all these seeds from all of that extra, and then you plant those and there's more extra, and it compounds and it becomes something that can sustain, parts of the community. We want to provide reasonably priced food for people who want homegrown fresh foods off of homesteads on farms. And obviously there are a couple different farmers markets in Billings and all over Montana. There's so much access to fresh food, but we definitely want to continue that and make sure that we are doing our part in supporting our community in that way. We would love to participate in co-ops and, and like other people's farm stands, or like, local grocery stores or things like that, that take, local food. It's the opportunities are endless, and I don't know exactly how it'll play out, but that is something that's really important to us. And on top of that, we want to create a space that people will enjoy coming to. We want to invite people on our farm. We want to invite the community on our farm, and people who are thinking about homesteading or they're new homesteaders and they want to learn. We want a place where people can come and they can learn, because there's not a lot of places that say, hey, we would like to invite you here and we would like to show you how we take care of our pigs. Come and show and like interact with these animals. Like, how many people have actually interacted with pigs in their life? Probably not a whole lot. And if they really want to do this homesteading thing, it's hard to just jump in when you don't know if you like animals or not, and you don't know how you're going to do. You've never even touched a garden before, other than maybe like a couple little, herbs on your windowsill. You don't know how it's going to go. So I want to invite people to like literally put their hands in the dirt and like, help me garden and do this, come and learn. So the have all end all goal here is to have a couple Airbnbs, or maybe not Airbnbs, but cabins that we can rent out to people who are interested in homesteading, who are interested in this lifestyle, or just want to experience it for the first time. Maybe they're interested in starting a homestead. Maybe they've already kind of started, but they want to branch out into some other things that we have on our farm that they might not have access to. They can come and they can pay so much money to stay on our homestead, like on a working farm, and be able to do day-to-day activities with us, be able to garden, be able to help with the animals. Like maybe their kids want to learn more about chickens. They can do that. They can do that there. And so it's kind of like an Airbnb space that you can interact with. And that's so cool. They can learn so much. We'll hold master classes and I'll cook them meals, and they can actually see what it's like to be on a farm, what everyday life is like. And we do this several times a year for people. And I just think, like, I wish I would have had that. Like, I've had to go get my experiences elsewhere. This is probably way more expensive than just like a weekend at some beautiful farm with all of these resources at your disposal. But we can send them home with knowledge and hands-on experience, as well as maybe some goodies from our farm as well. And like memories that'll last a lifetime, things that their kids will remember, things that they'll remember and be able to pass down to their kids, and all from our little hub of our farmstead. And that is really what we would love. Eventually, we'd love to have like kind of a community center where you can come and you can interact with the animals, and you can see what we do. We'd love a you pick flower garden. Like, we have such big dreams for this place. One of the things that I would absolutely love is maybe some type of orchard, or even raspberry fields or strawberry fields, to where people could come and you pick as many as you want. I love you pick orchards and you pick farms. They're my favorite thing ever, and I'm somehow gonna integrate it, whether it's flowers or food. I don't know. It'll happen in some way. If it's a pumpkin patch, I don't know. We'll have to see once I make this video again in a few years how it pans out. But I'm gonna do it somehow because it's my favorite thing ever, and I think there's not enough of those. So that's what we want. We want a farm stand. We want an educational center. We want a community center that it is a hub for the community, so that we can pour into the place that we're living. We don't want to go to Montana. I've just heard horror stories from Montanans who are like, we don't like people when they come from out of state because they try to change the culture in our little towns, and we don't want people coming in and like spreading their ideas that don't align with ours, and all of these things, like, just glazing over what our culture is and like our roots, and they don't have the same values and things. That is not at all what we're doing. And really what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to integrate ourselves into the culture that is there in Montana. We want to pour ourselves into the way of living. We want to soak up all of it that we can, because we want to change for our children. It has not been the best experience here. We want a place that is wholesome and is conservative and holds some of the same values as us, and values nature and being out in it and doing all of the things that I wasn't able to do growing up. And that's not my parents' fault. It's just where we lived. Like I want to be able to go on hikes. I want to be able to see mountains every day. You know, those are things that don't leave you. They don't leave you. They stay in your heart. And I just totally believe when you're closer to nature, like you're closer to God. Like to be in his creation all the time and just to see the beauty of it. I just remember that he came down and he did that for us. It's just so important to me. And so I want my kids to feel the awe and the wonder of the beauty every single day. And it's just very important to me that they have those experiences, and we can go on field trips to Yellowstone, or we can go on field trips to, places where we can learn about the Native American heritage that's there. They have a beautiful Native American heritage there, and the culture that is still intertwined in some of these Western states is just so incredible, and it's so beautiful. And I used to be an archaeology major, and it just makes my heart like go on fire, and I love it. I want them to see those things. I want them to learn, and I want them to learn about our beautiful country and like what it is to be surrounded by beauty and love and prosperity and abundance all the time. Like I just want them to be able to feel that. And it won't be like that all the time, but I want there to be an undertone of that. And that's why we want to move. That's why we want, because we just feel like this will be a place where our children will flourish and where we will flourish. And when we flourish, then that will help us be better parents to our kids, better grandparents to our grandchildren one day. It's pretty far off, but we're thinking about the future, and the world is unstable right now. It's been hard on a lot of people on both sides of the spectrum here. Like whether you consider yourself liberal or conservative, like the world is hard right now, and there's not a lot of peace, and there's a lot of chaos going on anywhere you go, no matter your beliefs. And I just feel like it's more important than ever to dig your hands in the dirt and to really prioritize the things that are going to matter. When I'm on my deathbed, I'm not going to sit and go, oh man, I wish I could have watched more Facebook Reels. Like, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be like, oh, I wish I would have watched more YouTube tutorials. Like, and those things are good, and we should enjoy doing those things. We have technology, and it's useful, and it's fun. We should be able to enjoy it. What I'm going to miss is time with my children. I'm going to wish that I had more moments with them. And I want to, on my deathbed, sit there and be like, I did everything I could to provide a good family and a good home and a good place for my kids to grow up. And they wanted to come home for Christmas. They wanted to come home in the summertime and bring their kids. The kids wanted to come for Thanksgiving break to grandma's house, and that's something that my children have had with my mom and my dad. And I had with my grandparents who lived on a farm. And that's really where all this kind of started, was that I want them to have that kind of experience. So that's why Montana. That's why. And that's what we'll have other videos about how we're getting there. But that's my what and my why. And it's just so important to have that. It's so important to have a why. And it's so important to have dreams that play into the goals for your life. Just having a goal and having a direction is so important for your health. It's so important for, as you're dreaming. And like I said, the world is hard right now, and the one thing that we need more than anything right now is hope. And this brings me hope. It brings me hope for our future. Brings me hope for my kids' future. it brings me hope for future generations. It's a legacy thing. I want this farm to stay in our family, and hopefully this will be some place that the kids come back to every year, and the grandkids come back to, and the great grandkids come back to. I want them to all be like, you know, great grandma and grandpa Nick, you know, they made this place, they built it with their own hands, and enjoy it. And I really hope that happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's okay. It would have served this purpose, but that's my hope, and that's my dream. So I said it was going to be a short video. It's not a short video, but this is why. This is our why. And I hope you've enjoyed listening to the why. It's really special. It's really special to bring you on the journey. So thank you so much for supporting us. I do have our link tree linked up in the description of this video. For people, because I had a lot of people like, hey, where can we follow you and stuff like that. I used to have a TikTok with all the craziness. I don't really have that anymore. We still have an Instagram and a Facebook page, which is primarily where we run everything through. And so I hope you join us on there too, because life is just better when we do it together. So stay radiant, friends. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.